how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, buddy pal HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd affiliated in a still echoey room, but it's cool. It's cool. You're here for your weekly Thursday night nerdy talk show where we sit back and relax. I said we sit back and relax. And as we cruise into a 3-day weekend, if you're lucky enough to have it, I did not have it for a long time, so I'm enjoying it now. As we cruise into a 3-day weekend, hopefully by now you poured yourself just a little bit of,
more specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Oof, I poured a lot into that one. I'm continuing on a gin kick, so that's what was in there, and I do still enjoy it. I will say that. But yes, you're here for another fun episode. We'll shoot the breeze as per usual. Lots to talk about. But of course, if you have a YouTube channel, podcast, blog, vlog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug. Yo, shit. Feeling good as my voice continues to break. But yeah, things are coming along. So pretty excited for that. 1 year wedding anniversary is this weekend. So pretty excited for that. And yeah, we will persevere no matter what happened this week. No matter what happens, we're all in it together because we've all we got. And without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, it's me. Well, why is it on that? It's me. I'm the problem. Legit, it is me. Thank you guys for joining me here today. I tell you, the echo in here, I don't notice it as much until I'm doing this show. And I have my headphones in and I can just hear it. I hear it ever so faintly. And this week I was doing some shorts for the podcast and I was like, that fucking echo, man. It's just, and a lot of you get it because a lot of you are content creators. So like, but even if you're just like an artist, for example, or there's just a craft that you do, you notice details that maybe the next person doesn't, unless they're also in that craft. And one of them is the ever so slight echo in the room. But hopefully this weekend I can put some more stuff up and fix that. But we have a carpet now, so it has helped a little bit. But let me say hi to everybody first in the chat. Scrolling up, you guys are, in the words of General Kenobi, you guys are on fire tonight. Dada Films in the house. Good to see ya. Creativity from the future in the house. Good to see ya. Dave's Dimension in the house. I'm going to trust you on first because Ecamm, sometimes it's just random. But I'm going to trust you on first. Actually, I was almost on time today. I was sitting in this chair, 8:14, about to hit live. The camera would not turn on. And I pulled the desk out, messing with all the wires. I was like, what is up with the camera? And then it turns out the SD card slot was open on the side. So that's why I said legit, I'm the problem. It's me. Although I'm not playing Spirits Unleashed at the moment. There you go. Geek Strong in the house. The newest owner of a Spirit Halloween full-size proton pack is this man, Geek Strong. Congratulations. Half off, by the way. Half off. Half. Rolando in the house. Good to see you. Everybody saying hi to each other. Love it. Whoa. Baller Shock Caller in the house. Paximus. Good to see ya. It has been a while. Yes. Don't worry. I've been lurking not only in your streams, but in your Discord. because I'm trying to be more active in the nerd affiliated Discord. So I'm going to try to be more active in the Paximus Discord as well. Legacy and Nerd in the house. Good to see you. Thank you very much, Pax. Legacy dropped a fun interview today, so make sure you check that out. Actually, I just want to pull this up. Here it is. I'm like, what screen am I supposed to be on? It's this screen. Actually, I want to make myself bigger now on this, because when I clip it, the window's so small and I can't get good quality on myself. But he just, you dropped another video today. Look at that. You've been busy. But Michael Irby, he interviewed him over at a big Texas Comic-Con. Best known in our nerd circle, I would say. Best known for being on the Mayans, but he's also been on a bunch of other shows. So definitely check it out. One of the things I liked about this is, I'm not going to spoil the whole interview, but Michael points out that like he kind of wants to get roles where you can just play a normal person, and he's always getting put in as the bad guy or like the badass guy. It's pretty funny. Definitely check it out. But I always think about, I'm drawing a blank on his name. His birthday just passed. The actor who played a T-1000, how he always, when people ask him about his history and like, being an actor, he always says it was hard to break the role of the T-1000 for a long time because that's all people could see. He walked into a room, that's all they could see. He was always clean cut. He was always fit. They're like, oh, you're a cyborg. You're a robot from the future. You kill people. That's what you do. And it wasn't until he on purpose gained weight and started to, let his hair get all messed up and all that he landed the role on Sopranos. And that's what broke the curse. That got him to break the mold of you can only play like a rigid robotic type of person. So I was thinking of that watching that interview earlier today. Everybody saying hi to each other. Man Collects in the house. Good to see you, Chris. Probably doing your edit right now for tomorrow's lunchtime toy hunt. I feel like you do them just for me. You're like, oh, I know Steve goes to lunch at 12. Time to drop a toy hunt 3 times a week. Love it. Guaranteed Jet in the house. Good to see you. I feel like you've been in the chat before, but it might be your first time. I don't remember, but of course I've talked to you in the comments. So good to see you. That's right. Hit that like button. Everybody saying hi to each other. Mega Dan in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, 125 for a pack I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it necessarily. Oh yeah, the full size pack there. It's blurry. I gotta fix that. But that thing for half off is a steal. Because of my new job, I didn't get a chance to do my usual like 4 or 5 Spirit Halloweens the day after. But I would have been effed anyway if I found it. Because this year, Spirit Halloween, I was so angry. And Geek Strong talks about it in his video. Normally, November 1st is like full bore, things are on clearance. On Halloween in the past, they've done discounts. Like if you go on the 31st, they'll start with like a smaller discount. And then on the 1st, it's like full blast, clear the store out, 50% off everything. This year, they didn't do that. This year, they did 50% off like all like decorations. But then the 50% off costume part didn't start until the 2nd. See that echo. Liquid Death. For you, LeBron Fett, who has not been in the chat for a while, but LeBron Fett used to always say Liquid Death tastes like TV static. And he's not wrong. But I was so angry because if I would have walked into Spirit and saw full size on the first, got to the register and it wasn't 50% off, I would have been pissed. Pissed. Because they're so hard to get. So hard to get. Well, on the first, they're really hard to get. Yeah, congrats, Dino. I missed out, so I'm going to 3D print a pack. I'm not going to lie. Been thinking about it. Man Collect says, I've never been to a Spirit Halloween. What?
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!
I'm not going to say I'm angry, but I will say I'm disappointed. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Especially because I feel like there's a lot of Spirit Halloween crossover in the toy community because so many of us, well, I say us like I still post hunt videos, but I'll still say us. So many of us in the hunts over the last couple of years have included Spirit Halloween in the rotation, not because you're finding like crazy deals when they first open, but because it's just like, oh, well, Spirit Halloween, they sell stuff that we might like. Cosplay, Halloween, a lot of crossover between Halloween and toy hunting and that kind of collecting type of thing. I don't get how you've never been to one. That is wild. Wild. Be right back. You're probably back by now anyway. Robert Patrick, thank you. There you go. I didn't want to spoil it because that was that's part of the interview, but yes, he's tired of also dying too. Geek Strong. To you.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
The reason that's so funny to me is we don't have that up here in Massachusetts. We don't have Ross. So a lot of us are very jealous when we're watching these toy hunts where you guys are finding like really awesome stuff, especially Marvel Legends stuff. You're finding that on clearance. Ollie's is the other one. Ollie's is in the Northeast, but not in Massachusetts. Oh, no, sorry. That's a lie. There's one all the way down by Plymouth, which is South Shore, like Plymouth Rock, Plymouth. Like that's where it is. Nowhere near where Geek Strong and I live. So that's the nearest Ollie's. I've not been to that one. A friend of mine went to look for Bucky O'Hare for me a couple years ago, but no luck. But the only Ollie's I've been to by by stupidity is the Guaranteed Jet. Wow, thank you so much for the super chat. For the $5 super chat. Does this let me? Where you at? There you go.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Thank you. The only Ollie's I've been to is the same one I've gone twice. And it's been on my trips back home from either New York or Connecticut, because that Ollie's, I believe, is in Connecticut, but it's like Western Mass, Connecticut area. So I'll be coming home, and if I'm on that side of the state, I'll be like, oh, let me put an Ollie's on my phone, see if one pops up. I've unfortunately hit the same one twice. I was trying to hit a different one, didn't realize it was the same one, and that's the only one I've been to. But both times I went, I didn't see too much I would like. But going back to Ghostbusters, my first Plasma Series figure was purchased at Ollie's, and that got me into the line. Which I'll talk about that later when I talk about the HasLab stuff. Dave says, same here because of work. It wasn't happening. But Saturday could have gone the second, apparently. I didn't realize that either. It would have been awesome. I thought I was going to have to throw down to get the pack. Yeah, it was great. You guys should definitely watch that video from Geek Strong. Oh, sorry. Let me pull it up here. It's a funny hunt video. There's another Geek Strong out there. Who the hell's this guy? Look at this. Who's that dude? Get out of here. And who's this guy? Get out of here. These people are crazy. There's only one Geek Strong. Only one. But this one here. Spirit Halloween end of year clearance, score or fail. I guess I spoiled it, but the story is still fun. Definitely check it out. I have not watched the Killer Clowns video yet. It's on my list because I also saw those at Spirit and I did not pick them up. But I picked up a lot of stuff for decorations. I did do that. I wish Ecamm would show me the emojis. It just doesn't. I don't know why. Man Collect says, I know I'm a failure as a toy hunter. Next year, it will be my goal to get to one of those stores. Yeah, especially because you're always on the road. So I feel like you naturally would be passing a Spirit Halloween. So definitely do it. I got a new light and sound kit for my Spirit full size means and a Spengler wand. So excited to install. Yeah, for sure. Definitely tag us, the Real Nerdbusters on Instagram when you got some pictures. I'd love to see that. Or go to our Discord. There's a Ghostbusters section of the Discord page. Share your stuff in there. Ross this. And again, Guaranteed Jet, thank you for the super chat. JB's Toy Trunk in the house. Good to see you. Dirt Cheap is a sneaky one. It's true. K-Walk Comedy in the house. Good to see you, Kathy. We have Spirit, Ollie's, and Ross in North Carolina. Aaron Waller in the house. Good to see you. I'm a terrible friend and forgot it was Thursday. No, I think it just means that you're an adult. I forget it's Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. I forgot it was November. So there you go. That's right. There could be only one. What the F? Exactly. HasLab, I have legit concerns. Yeah. We'll talk about that tonight. Look at the background of the room slowly coming together. It is. The challenge in the room is that this is my office for this and for work. So it's not going to be the full like nerd setup per se. That's going to be downstairs. So I'm not going to have like the craziest background. I'll put some stuff up on the wall again for echo reasons, but the nerd display will probably be downstairs in like the little work area I try to put together. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Love that. There you go. So yeah, we have some news to talk about, of course. Can't believe it's already 8:37. Time has flown. But let's talk about that. So I'm talking about the HasLab. What was the other thing that just... Oh, Star Wars. I was talking about Star Wars too. That's been big news today. I'll come back to that. I'll talk about the HasLab first. And I'll go back to the Star Wars. All right. So we have the Ghostbusters HasLab. We are in week 3, I want to say. Just past 75%. So congrats to them. On the way to 12,000. So the reason I wanted to talk about this outside outside the obvious was in relation actually to the Ollie's comment I made earlier. So the HasLab, again, I think it's going to back. I think there's enough time where little by little people are going to back it. I was listening to Extraplasm this morning. And of course, at 0 hour, a lot of people tend to say, okay, I'm going to buy 2, 3, 4, maybe the max of 5 because they think they can flip them. So you'll probably get a spike at the end. I said this last week and maybe the week before. I think the idea of flipping this thing is stupid. I think it's absolutely stupid to think you're going to be able to flip. I mean, one's going to be a stretch, but thinking you're going to flip 2 or 3 of them, I think is a tough one. But it ties into the Ollie's thing because I think, who was maybe Anthony was saying to you yesterday, I don't remember, or Aaron actually. Yeah, it was Aaron. Something happens with us in the communities, in the various fandoms that I don't think we really realize. And it's how niche it is that we even collect these things, how niche it is for you to even watch a show like this on a weekly basis. It's not commonplace. Like most people, most nerds don't really sit down and watch long form nerdy podcasts on a weekly basis. It's not really a thing. But as you get into each individual fandom, again, that small bubble gets even smaller, right? Some of them are obviously bigger than others. I think probably one of the smallest fandoms, out of mainstream type of things, if we're talking about shows or movies that are out on a regular basis, maybe something like Doctor Who, right? Like people generally, I think, know Doctor Who. If you see the TARDIS, right? This is called the TARDIS. That's what it is. But they don't release Doctor Who figures and they don't release Doctor Who HasLab stuff. You don't get that kind of thing. And then as you go up, the fandoms get a little bit bigger. To me, Ghostbusters and Power Rangers, as far as the Hasbro library or catalog, I think are pretty small. I think the fandoms for Ghostbusters and Power Rangers, and I'm saying this respectfully, they're pretty small. Now, you take those groups, and now you have to break them down even smaller when you get into collecting. You'll have people who say, oh, I'm definitely backing the Proton pack because you have a whole community of Ghostbusters fans that only buy role-play stuff or only have a huge display and have the only option for Proton pack is making it themselves. That when a HasLab comes out and they see what you're getting for the price, they're like, whoa, that's a smoking deal. I don't even know what Hasbro is, but I'm going to buy it. You get a lot of that with a fandom like Ghostbusters. But when it comes to toy collecting, again, it gets much smaller. And going to the Ollie's thing, I think a lot of us have short-term memory and we forget the Plasma series was not a high-selling line. We didn't get a lot of figures in Plasma series. And the ones we did, at a certain point, they were collecting dust at Ollie's. That's where it got. So I think the 12,000 number, I think it was a bit high for something like this. I still think it's going to back, but I think 12,000 was high. And I also think the price point was high for the fandom. If there was a Power Ranger HasLab and it was a figure-related HasLab, I think you'd run into the same exact issue. The number can't be too high, and it's got to be role play. Can't really be a toy thing. If it's a toy thing, it's got to be reasonably priced. Or you go I call it the new HasLab method, where you don't have to hit a minimum. They just do a made-to-order run. So I think that's why this is struggling. And there's that website, the Geek Dad Life, also a content creator. He does tracking on it, and you could see here, it's flatlined a bit. It's flatlined. Early bird passed. They did not hit by the early bird, but they got rid of the early bird. But now it's cruising right about there. Now, you could argue the Proton pack also hit a little cruise. It was still going up though, and then it kind of started to boost. And everything always has a boost at the end. So that's why I think this will get a little boost. He did make sure to note Engine of Vengeance got no boost. I remember the Rancor got a boost at the end. Reva's lightsaber did not get a boost. This isn't going to be a Reva's lightsaber. It's not going to be Engine of Vengeance. But I don't know if we're going to see a giant boost like that. I don't know. We'll see. The other one that got a crazy boost towards the end, if you guys remember, was the did I say hi to General Kenobi already? I think that was, yeah. General Kenobi. Because the other day you thought I ignored you on the stream and you never hit send, which is pretty funny. If you remember, the Ghost had a crazy boost at the end because we debated whether it would hit all tiers. It backed pretty fast, but it was like flatline when it came to the tiers, and we're like, oh, the people are not going to get all the card backs. Then it turns out, very end, to the moon. So maybe that'll happen here. But another really good point was mentioned, which is the hype for a HasLab like this kind of dies down when you don't have tiers. You know, when you have the tier system, people keep checking in. They keep going to the website like, oh man, did it unlock this thing yet? Did it get this thing yet? They're telling their friends about it. This one, it's like, there's no tiers. You kind of just back it or you don't back it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Have any of you, I know Dave backed it, but have any of the rest of you backed it yet? Or have plans to back it? Think you're going to back it? Let me know. So let me go back up here. The HasLab is stalling out like an 87 Ford Explorer. That's funny. 8,950, still under 9,000. It's stalling. But even if there's a spike, it's so close to the holidays when it ends. It's going to be rough and close, like that 1X from high school. Yeah. That's the other thing, too. You know, they reminded everybody that you're not going to get charged until the end, but the end is in December. So if you back this, you're doing your holiday shopping, all of a sudden a charge for, you know, after tax, if you get the deluxe, charge for $450 is going to hit your card. Just like, whoa, where did that come from? So that's something else, you know. What's the target goal? The 12,000. So 3,050 to go and meet the goal. Yep, there you go. As a Who fan, Doctor Who fan, am I being targeted? Yes. Heading down the rabbit hole. Are you going to back it now? Did you back it just now? Yes, you got graphs. Data saying hi. The Ghost had like 30% boost the last day. Yeah, it did. Geek Strong, that's right. You got it. You said you backed the HasLab and the Mondo Real Ghostbusters 2-pack. There you go. And Kenobi reminding you guys to hit the like button. That was crazy too. The Mondo figures, we had some news with that. I didn't even know about until the Extraplasm podcast. Where you at? Where you at? Here we go. So this, you know, the Mondo figures have been in conversation for a while now. I'm not, you know, telling you guys anything new where I say I'm not collecting them, not paying the price for them. But Mondo decided the other day to do a holiday special, right? So they already said for Halloween, we're going to get rid of shipping on the entire line because you guys are so awesome. If you choose to believe that, bless your heart. But then they announced this holiday thing where if you spent X amount of dollars, you would get X amount off, right? So it was, as you see in the picture here, spend $100, get $10 off, which is $100 is less than the solo pack because the solo pack is $102. Or spend $200 and get $25 off. So once again, under $202, so you'd only get the $10 discount with the 2-pack. And then of course, spend $300, get $50. So they announced that. So people are like, all right, you know, at least you get $10 off, plus you're getting your shipping off, so that's like 30 something, $40 off the 2-pack, right? Or sorry, off the right? Off the 2-pack, because you have to spend $202 to get the 25 and the... I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Yes, if you bought the 2-pack, you got $25 off, plus the shipping off, so you got like $45 off, something like that. But then, like a day later, Mondo is like, oh, wait, sorry, turns out we revised the discount. We changed the numbers up. So it went from this to the update here with you have to spend $250 and then you can get $35 off. So now, instead of you getting the 25 off the 2-pack, you're only getting the $10 off the 2-pack. So you lost that. They're just like, oh, sorry, psych. So like I said, I was already out of this. I'm even more out when it comes to this because now they're just effing with your money. First, it was the free shipping because we like you. Then it's there's a discount. Oh, sorry, you're not getting the discount. Spend more money to get the discount. Like, F off. And as a reminder, this is Funko. Funko owns Mondo, so they have the money. So, again, if anybody gets it, like Geek Strong's getting it, am I jealous because I want these figures? Yes. Out of principle, I just can't do it. And also, this articulation's killing me. Single joint. And I think that's the most bend you're getting, but we'll see. We'll see. I didn't get the $10 off, only the free shipping. I must have ordered before the sale. Yeah, so a lot of people are canceling and reordering to get that money off. So you might have to do that. But like, why not? Why wouldn't they just credit you? It's a pre-sale. I'm not going to name any names. I worked for a company where at one point in time, they would just be like, oh, preemptively, we're crediting you because you haven't received this thing and there's a sale happening. But then as time went on, they were like, oh, no, we'll credit you if you tell us to credit you. We're not going to proactively do it. We don't want to mess with your money. So all of this is very familiar to me. I've been down this road. So that's where I'm like, I know what you're doing. The free shipping thing, again, it's not because they're selling so crazy. The free shipping is they're not selling, and they need to get that push out. I can come over and play with the Mondo, Real Ghostbusters since we live close, and I can play with the Ecto 1, providing it backs. I can go to your house, play with the Ecto 1, or when I'm in New York, I can go to Anthony's house and play with the Ecto 1 there. Are there any shots of packaging? No. They have not released that yet. Where is... I swear I had the tab open. Here it is. Yeah, all we got is this. Now, Mondo did make an announcement today. Something we already knew was coming. But they finally released more images. And that is this Batman Beyond figure. 225, quarter or 1/6 scale. I was like quarter scale. Yeah, a lot of figures, a lot of accessories for this price. And I will say, this Terry McGinnis head sculpt is pretty dope. Like, that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. But I think overall, at this point, as much as I'd like a lot of these figures, the Mondo pricing really it doesn't line up for me. After getting a Hot Toy, I think a Hot Toy is what ruined it. I told you guys numerous times, if they released Real Ghostbusters, I'd buy them from Mondo. If they release the Spider-Man animated series 1/6 scale, I said I'd buy them. And then with the X-Men series, I was like, oh, I'd really buy the Cyclops. I really would. But after getting a Hot Toy for the same price and seeing the quality of like the soft goods, the sculpts, I was like, this is not the same price as a Hot Toy. This is like $150. That's, to me, that's what Mondo figures at 1/6 scale are 150 range. My opinion. Not saying I'm right. And a lot of them are great. A lot of them are awesome. But after getting my first Hot Toy, I was like, I can't justify spending the same money and getting this as I did with a Hot Toy. It don't make sense to me. And what kills me is the articulation. The Mondo articulation is not great. Much like a Hot Toy, it's meant to just stand there. Like, this is as much of a split as you're going to get. And that's where I'm like, I'd rather have a 1/12 scale and do crazy poses for, photographs if I want to. So if you get them, if you're into them, more power to you. I'm not trying to tell you not to buy them. I just can't bother. I can't be bothered to buy them. Not at the moment. Mondo Italiano. Yeah. Welcome back, Dan. Dave said the prices are insane. Motu Mondo are better than the other lines. Those do look really good. They look really good. I've seen those at cons. God, the echo in here is crazy. I'd buy this at $180. For sure. I wanted this. I think look at this head sculpt. That Eddie Brock head sculpt, the shading on this, amazing. Look at all the hands you get. This is dope. This is pretty dope. I just can't stomach the price. But here you go. The Motu figure looks legit. This looks legit. And then that Skeletor they came out with a while back. Do they have a you might also like? There's that one. I think there's like a bigger Skeletor as well. Right? Did I make that up? There's like the Skeletor with the Battle Cat. Like, that looks ridiculous. It does. The Beastman also looked really good. Let me see if they... I wonder if I can go up here and then it... Oh, Motu. Yeah. That looked pretty sick. This was the one with the horse. Yeah. I mean, that looks crazy. That looks crazy. And with this, to me, you're like, okay, I'm buying this piece that's more of like a statue. Like, I feel like when you're dealing with this whole thing here, we're dealing with a statue similar to Hot Toys in a way, depending on which figure it is. You're dealing with a statue that you can pose around, which I think is great. I think it's great. And even with this one, I feel like it's a one-off. You can, I still think the price is crazy, but you buy this one, maybe you get He-Man as well. Maybe you get one more. You get a Beastman, but you're kind of set. You get the couple and you're good. You don't need the other ones. With the other stuff, though, you got to build a team, right? You can't just have Wolverine by himself. You got to have a couple more X-Men. Spider-Man, you're going to have to get Venom. Maybe you could stop at 2. Spider-Man, Venom. I think you might need a couple more. And then with the Ghostbusters, they even at half the size, they still decided to charge the same amount of money. You need the team. You can't just buy one Ghostbuster. You're going to look stupid. So you need the team. And that's where I'm like, yeah, I'm out. And again, this is Funko, so they got money. I'm set. I'd like an Evil Lyn and maybe one day Battle Cat. Yeah. This one's great. That's ridiculous. I'm glad I'm not into Motu like that, because that'd be dangerous. That would be dangerous. Yeah, I really wanted this figure. Really wanted this figure. But I just couldn't do it. And if I bought it, I was going to get the deluxe that came with the jacket. But, yeah. There he is. That's the best he poses. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm more about the Mondo, Real Ghostbusters, Sam, Boogeyman, etc. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And, something of note, I know we trash on Hasbro a lot because it's fun sometimes. But the Hasbro quality has been getting really good over the last couple of years with their figures. Warbird went up on sale today. She was sold out in like 10 minutes. I have no interest in buying her, but it's a great quality figure if you're collecting a Dark Avengers team. And, as you go down, do I disagree with a lot of things? Sure. But the figures are still pretty good. Great quality, great paint apps. That's improved over the years. So I don't know. I'm like, I can't see myself spending $200+ on something when I can get a smaller version for a quarter of the price and build out a whole team if I had to. This is never going to sell out. Has anybody bought these? Has anybody bought these figures? Do you even know what they are? Like if the name was not there, even with the name there, actually, do you know what these are? Would you know them? Yeah, that McCready's great. That's another good one. But the NECA ones are awesome. The NECA figures for $35. Really good. What's Piper's name from They Live? His Mondo figure is also super dope. But the smaller NECA figures are also great. That's the one thing you can never take away from NECA. And now I feel like, Hasbro's approaching there. You can never take away the sculpts. A lot of the sculpts on a lot of the figures are really good with NECA. And their human characters are really good too, which is not an easy feat. Oh wow, she's in sale. Or on sale. I would have never guessed. I thought she'd be sold out. It's a great figure. Huh. I thought some more stuff would be on sale. JCH in the house. Good to see him. Fellow Buster. Actually, Geek Strong, he's been also building a full size. He's been commenting on the Discord with his updates. So definitely give that a watch. Or join us on the Discord, I should say. I love how this is still here. Why do you have that here? That's funny. That is funny. But let's go over and talk a little Star Wars real quick, because I don't have much to say about this. I know a lot of people posted about it. Let me take a stab and see if Star Wars Theory talked about it. He did not, because of course that's how this works. I need to find something, and now I don't remember where I saw it, even though I saw it like 5 different places. I did think this was interesting. I think I reposted it. Yeah, WB's been taking L's for a long time. Here we go. X-Men writer-producer Simon Kinberg has signed up to write a trilogy of Star Wars films that, according to reports, could continue the Skywalker saga through Episode 12, but also may not. Somehow, Palpatine returned again. Okay. This means absolutely nothing to me. And to all of you, this should mean absolutely nothing. How many times have we seen directors freaking show up, sign on, and then they're out for all the movies, Marvel and Star Wars, but very specifically with Star Wars? Don't you remember? Solo was happening. Director left while they were making the movie, so they had to reshoot some of it. Rogue One, I think the director stayed, but they reshot the ending. The guys that did Game of Thrones, right? They were doing a new trilogy, I believe, out. Dude that did Knives Out, what's his face? Wow, I can't remember his name. Last Jedi guy. Who? Wow, good for him. Fell out of grace where we forgot his name. Ryan Johnson. Remember, Ryan Johnson was getting a trilogy. Out. So, I see everybody talking about this, but I'm like, for what? For what? Until we're at a premiere and the person has been there, not left, it's pointless. It's pointless to be like, oh, this is it. If Kathleen Kennedy was gone, I'd be like, okay, maybe things will change and directors stay. We sign you on. We give you creative control. You do your thing, whatever. But that's not happening. So until that happens, this means nothing. And sad to say it. I just want my two in the box. That's for fucking sure. Yeah. Let's don't. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Filoni and Favreau should be the only people making Star Wars. We've discussed this in the past, and I agree for the most part, but I don't know. When did we talk about this? This might have been post Mandalorian season 3, where we said season 3 was pretty shitty. Book of Boba Fett was shitty. Like, following Mando season 2, things skidded again. Like the wheels seemed to fall off. And what we don't know yet, and even in interviews, nobody really says it, we don't know where they end and like Kathleen Kennedy or Disney begin. Like, do they say things and then she's like, do what you want, I trust you, and then we're getting shitty products? Or were they doing things, Disney makes them change, and then we get shitty products? Nobody knows, except for them. And one of the reasons I feel very strongly about that is Sam Witwer interviews. If you listen to Sam Witwer, General Kenobi actually got a chance to talk to Sam. Sam loves to tell stories that we eat up, where he identifies as like the nerd in the room. Oh, they want to do this. And I told them that doesn't make sense because of X, Y, and Z. And they're just like, oh, yeah, you're right. He knows a lot about Star Wars. Most famously, at the end of Solo, they wanted Maul in the hologram to be rocking the double-bladed saber, and Sam was like, but what time period is this? Oh, he didn't have that at this point. And when he did, it wasn't the same one from Phantom Menace. It was different. And they were like, you're right. But Sam always mentions Dave is around. So, begs the question. Is Dave also messing things up? And the only reason we get good stuff is because he lets a Sam in the room, or there's somebody else that comes in the room? Or is John messing up and then Dave saves the day? Like, who is in control up until what point? That I don't know. Only they know. And because of that, and because we've been getting so much garbage, that's why I feel like I don't know if Dave and John can save the day anymore. I like to think they can. Because especially, when I think of Jon Favreau, I always go back to Iron Man 1. Jon Favreau being told, do what you want. This is a dead franchise. And he created Iron Man 1 makes me have faith in him. Jon Favreau getting Clone Wars, and then towards the end of the life of Clone Wars, where they're like, do what you want. Star Wars is being sold off anyway. It doesn't matter. We got those later seasons of Clone Wars, right? So, like, where do they end in the line and Disney / Kathleen Kennedy start? Because I don't know that answer, it doesn't help me ever get excited when I see news like this, because I'm like, as good as you were in the X-Men stuff, we still got some shitty X-Men movies, and Disney's still involved. So, I don't know. But if you guys are excited for it, more power to you. I think Star Wars is at yet another low point. I don't think Star Wars is as low as, pre-Phantom Menace. And I'll get to the comments in a second. I don't think we're that low necessarily, but we're pretty close. Pretty close. And tying back into the Power Ranger and Ghostbusters things, there's fans that'll be like, you're an idiot. It's not, Star Wars is still killing it. And it's like, no, that's because you consume Star Wars and you seek out Star Wars. Most people outside, the people who help you sell those hundreds of millions of dollars of box office tickets because they're just like, oh, there's a blank movie, I'll go see it. Those people aren't thinking about Star Wars at the moment. They haven't thought about Star Wars in a long time. Toy sales aren't going crazy. It's Star Wars is pretty low right now. Disney's fault. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me catch up to comments here. I had fun making the video on this. Expectations are high for this. Yeah, here's the thing. A lot of people made videos on it. They've made posts on it. And I don't understand the hype necessarily. I don't feel like most people knew who Simon Kinberg was until they were like seeing X-Men next to his name. Like if somebody just threw that name out, I don't think most people know who it was. But people are excited. Does that excitement last 48 hours? I think people forget about this news when the Penguin finale happens, People forgot about Agatha already. So it's like, and it's flat. We'll see. And the good thing about Star Wars, I will say, is it just takes one good thing. It really just takes like one good show, one good movie, one good episode. People are in. Oh, Star Wars. Ah. And they forget about all the shitty stuff. Again, we were all there for when Mando popped off. Mando, and you know what was wild about Mando? If you go back and watch Mando season 1, when they introduced Beskar, and the show's dumb. What do you really think about it? The dude's bulletproof. He's a bounty hunter with a device that tells you where the person is. And there's a baby Yoda in it. Like on paper, it's like, come on. But it was enough to get people interested. And Star Wars was back again. So it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Talking about Sam, he does. Yeah. It's an impossible gig. For sure. I'm not saying it's easy. Some people make it look easy. You know. But then Disney messes it up. Maybe if they add Sam into the mix for Star Wars. I mean, I would love it, but, you know, we've also talked about this in relation to Henry Cavill. If you guys remember that conversation. Henry Cavill was on The Witcher. Henry Cavill is a very outwardly proud super nerd. Loves The Witcher, loves Warcraft, StarCraft, gaming, all that fun stuff. Sam is in. Henry's in. Henry left The Witcher because he says they were making decisions that I thought were not jiving with canon and how it should go and all that stuff. We only know Henry, so of course we're going to naturally take his side, but we don't know the other side of the equation. Maybe they're just like, bro, what are you talking about? Like that, what you're saying right now, we don't even have budget to do this. Or, dude, this is a 10 episode season. What you're talking about would take 10 episodes, and that's like one story arc of like one little thing. Like, you don't know the conversations behind the scenes. So with Sam, he's in the room for things, but Duke will come into the room and give out 100 shitty ideas, but we only hear about the two good ones. But then every time Sam shows up at the studio, Dave is just like, Sam, how's it going? Yeah. Don't know what I was thinking. We don't know. We don't know. X-Men are a hot mess. That's the thing too, right? So let me look up his come on. Look at this list. Top row, 2 movies out of 6. Second row, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 4 out of 6. Next row, 1, 2, maybe 3. 3 out of 6. 1, 2. 2 out of 6. 1 out of 6. Like, he don't hit like that. Especially with these. The X-Men movies, man. First Class came out, and we were like, game changer. Game changer. Days of Future Past came out. We're like, holy shit. We're doing it. X-Men are here. Then Cyclops and all them show up, and we're like, now we're going to get the new class of X-Men. Goes to shit. I don't know how many of you watched New Mutants, but I forgot that movie existed. Was that COVID? It came out finally. Got delayed like 10 million times. So, I don't know. Cutthroat in the house. Good to see you. Looking good. How is your new studio for streaming coming together? A lot of echo in the room. Still got to put some stuff up on the wall. But otherwise, pretty good. You know, I mentioned the yelling thing. If you guys remember one of the last episodes in the old spot. And I still don't feel like projecting my voice, even though I don't have any neighbors like above and below me. But it still feels weird because I've always lived with neighbors above or below. to be like, oh, I could just like yell now and nobody would care. So, Andor was the best show thus far, in my opinion. So your opinion is very popular. I just disagree. I disagree. As somebody who loved the, Rogue One, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, loved Rogue One. I wanted the most for Andor. I hated Andor. Andor to me was like nails on a chalkboard. Not the worst show, but apparently everybody loved it. And we're getting season 2. So I'm happy we're getting more of that. The show was not for me. And the boys in the group agree. I don't know about the rest of you. We enjoyed Kenobi week over week. You know, was the plot dumb? Sure. But it was still fun week over week. Him deflecting, Reva deflecting the snowspeeder bullets. 6 people cramming into a snowspeeder somehow. You know, there's a lot of dumb shit with Kenobi. But week over week, we were all enjoying it at least. Or at least looking forward to the next one. Andor, I week over week, I was just like, oh my God, how many more episodes is this? Agatha all the way. Felt the same way. They were saying hi to each other. Logan, I think you're doing that when it does the elbow cough. So much potential for New Mutants. Yeah, it got messed up by all kinds of delays. Yeah, that was a hot mess. Hot mess. I think the reason I did was because I thought it was a dumb idea at first. New Mutants, is that what you're talking about? And C, I did not like Kenobi. Again, most people agree with you. Most people did not like Kenobi. And, you know, the Leia thing was dumb. Like I said, Reva, that whole thing was kind of dumb. I think at the end, they could have really turned Reva into a likable character by killing her off. But by her living, it was just like, what are you doing? So, you know. The other thing, too, I think I show mercy on that show because Mandalorian and Kenobi have very similar, like, plot threads, right? Disney's been very heavy into this, like, older character that's very, like, you know, I just do my job. I don't give a shit. And then, like, a kid shows up and the kid shows them how to, like, be a person and emotions. They're doing that with everything, but the story used for Mandalorian, rumor, was originally the story for Kenobi, or at least the big story points, and that's why when you watch Kenobi, you're like, oh, a lot of this is very similar to Mandalorian, because that was the story, or at least part of the story threads of Mando were from the Kenobi show. Also, a lot of Mandalorian was supposed to be Book of Boba Fett, but they were trying to get away from the legacy characters, so they created the Mando show, but then still brought in Boba Fett, and that's why his story is stupid and just is pointless, because they just had to make one up because they already gave away his story points. I can't believe for the Rey Star Wars movie is now on the 4th rider. See, and we'll probably won't see this movie until late. Wow, until summer of 2026. Disney doesn't know how to do Star Wars right. Correct. Andor was amazing. Didn't like Kenobi. What kind of people you hang out with? People in the comment section. And that's my issue with a lot of Star Wars creators. Not you, obviously. There are a lot of Star Wars creators out there. You know, I'll just go for it. Star Wars Theory, right? Do I think Star Wars Theory is like a shitty person? No. Do I think he and I would get along? Yes. But I feel like Theory and a bunch of other people, as the shows were coming out, they were still big upping the shows. And then after the fact, they're like, oh, the show sucked. But it didn't suck when they were watching it. You know what I mean? There are other creators out there, you know, whoa, that's crazy. Blah. And then the show's done. They're like, oh, the show was terrible. But like only after it's like widely accepted that the show was terrible. And that bothers me. That bothers me. So, I don't know. I think Ahsoka is a prime example of the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire / the Power Ranger Netflix movie case study. Like, these are shows that the fandom or movie that the fandom swears is good, swears it like everybody liked it, but nobody else gave a shit because it was so niche. It was bad. And then when you don't get a sequel or things get canceled, everybody's like, I don't understand. Why did it get canceled? Because the mass audience, the public, people who don't watch Power Ranger videos, people who don't watch Star Wars videos for fun, didn't give a shit about it. It didn't make any money. Done. You know, I feel that way about Ahsoka. I feel like Ahsoka, if it gets season 2, it's only because they're just like, we're gonna force Ahsoka to keep going because of Clone Wars and Rebels. But I don't think viewership was really good. They were not freaking touting how awesome the viewership numbers were on that show, like they were with Agatha. Even though that one's still questionable to me, but is what it is. There were lots I liked about Kenobi, but it's Precautious Kid runs the show is tired for me. Yeah. And the show was legit just a build up for the last episode, much like episode 3. Yeah. It's just a movie filler for the final battle. Yeah. Take Game of Thrones went from the only thing anyone talked about to just dead once the final episode came out, like it didn't exist. And the new one's pretty good. I have to watch the new season. We were talking about that earlier today. Something I don't think gets discussed with Kenobi enough, and I think one of the reasons why we were all okay with it, by we I mean Sal, Aaron, Anthony, myself. Kenobi being the Last Jedi Luke Skywalker, beaten up old man type of character. It makes more sense for him than it does Luke Skywalker, right? In Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker is just like, my nephew had a dream. I saw the dream, so I had to try to kill him, but then I backed, and then I'm just gonna live in the mountains and drink milk. It was like, bro, you destroyed 2 Death Stars. You talked about how important it was to keep the Order alive, and you turn into this. Like, what the fuck is this? Doesn't make sense. Kenobi, though, his actual protege, his student, one that he pushed despite the council saying you shouldn't do this, was the reason everything he believed in was dead. Everybody he loved, even though he couldn't technically love anybody, but everything he loved and knew and all that stuff was destroyed by his own, almost in a way, ability to follow or not follow the Jedi doctrine. Because of him, all of this happened. Palpatine came into control. Anakin turned to Vader, wiped out the Jedi Order. So yeah, he's gonna freaking be like, I'm done, and loses connection to the Force, and lives on a desert planet. It makes more sense for Kenobi to me. But I think because we've seen that already like 5 times with Disney Star Wars, when it got to him, it didn't resonate with people. There wasn't that thought process. Or they were like, I don't understand why. He's Kenobi. Anthony in the house, good to see you. I was waiting for you to jump in and say something about my shirt. last couple of comments here. Cutthroat said, I wanted so bad to love Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, but I felt the writing was so bad, it just failed badly in movie theaters. Listen, that movie's atrocious. It is. To me, Frozen Empire is the worst Ghostbusters movie out there. By far. When you talk to casual people, most have not seen the movie. And probably have it around, at best, it's like the fourth one, if they could even name you all four. The reason the movie hit a profit is the fans pushed the living shit out of that movie. And I've talked about this before. These are reasons why maybe we would never get invited to anything, and we won't have Ghost Core people on the show, because things like this, I think, don't get said enough. And then people are confused when you don't get sequels. They're confused when lines die. I think the Ghostbusters fandom should be studied. They should be studied. And every fandom should contact Ghost Core and say, how can we replicate what you did? Because your movie, by the numbers, turned a profit, right? Just, you know, from an outsider perspective, looking at Box Office Mojo, your movie turned a profit because you got your fans so invested in this franchise. They went 4, 5, 6, 10 times to see this movie in like 2 weeks. On their own, the fans did premiere parties at the theaters. Theaters at that point of that movie, and still to this day, are struggling to stay open. And mofos were showing up in Ecto Ones, doing charity events, buying out multiple viewings of Frozen Empire on a Tuesday. They should be studied. Every studio, Marvel should be calling up Ghost Core to say, how did you do it? Because that's the only reason that movie made money. Because of the fans. Not enough of the public went for that movie to make a profit. The fans just went 4, 5, 6, 10 times. So, you saying that you wanted it to be good, a lot of us did. And it wasn't good. But the fans, man. You can't... Ghostbusters fans, some of the most dedicated out there. And that's what's confusing, but also makes sense with the HasLab. The hardcores they're out there, but even they have limits. And even they have a budget, you know, and they can't always just say, I'm going to drop $400 on a car that I can't wear to a convention or to Halloween, you know. So true. We need a better Ghostbusters movie that has good storytelling like the original Ghostbusters. Yeah. And here's the thing too. The movie, in a way, could not make sense like the original movies, right? Like, we didn't have an explanation for how the proton packs came to be. We didn't get an explanation on how they figured out how to make a PKE meter. You know, you got some of that in the 2016 movie, not the original one. When you watch part 2, things happen in that movie where you're just like, wait, we're not going to talk about this? They can literally just take a random cop to see the river of ooze, and like half this movie doesn't have to happen, you know? But these things don't matter because the movie's funny and charming, and, you know, there's all these other parts to it. Afterlife has some of it. It's a very niche for the fans movie, but Frozen Empire didn't do any service to try to get new people in. They try to just stay for the hardcores, but even then didn't really follow through. And a little leaks from Mark Hamill and others that the new trilogy didn't go the way it was originally planned. Yeah, we've talked about that on the show too. I thought Frozen Empire was lazy. It was just okay. Sorry. It was okay to watch once and only once. You know, it's funny. There are a couple casual fans of Ghostbusters I've talked to that actually liked Frozen Empire more than Afterlife, but could do without either one. That was a general consensus. They're like, I like the second one more than the first one because the original guys are there, but I was good with either. I didn't have to watch them. Tuesdays for $5 Tuesdays. That's the reason why they bought out the theater. Yeah. And having Adam Savage promote all your stuff prior doesn't hurt. True. Afterlife I thought was solid. I agree. I thought the girl Ghostbuster was better than Frozen Empire. Yeah. I have, my ranking is 1. It kind of changes. I feel like my ranking now is like 1, 2016, 2, Afterlife, Frozen. I think it changes, but 2016 I think is my solid number 3. I just rewatched that one and I didn't hate it as much as I remembered, and it really only falls apart on the third act. Yeah, I think Chris Hemsworth is the worst part of that movie, and if you watch the director's cut, which is always a bullshit thing to say, I understand, but the director's cut, I think, is a far better movie than the original, and that's what should have been released. So watch the director's cut of 2016. Actually thought Afterlife was overrated. It was okay. I think Afterlife is a great part 2 because they kind of ignored that GB2 existed until Frozen Empire. But I feel like Afterlife on paper is a good part 2. Like you can do without Ghostbusters 2 and put in Afterlife there, and I think you have a good 2 sets of movies. I thought he was the best part. I just thought he was too dumb. I hated that character. Hated that character. But all right, well, that's a show. That's a wrap. I think we covered mostly everything we wanted to talk about. So I appreciate you guys being here. Let's just pull up box office and see if there's anything of note we should look for. Venom: Last Dance. How you doing overall? 320. Yo, I'm telling you. Look at international, 227. People are like, I don't understand why there's another Venom movie, because it keeps making money. It keeps making money, especially internationally. 227 million international. So, yeah. Coming up this week, doesn't look like anything of note. Red One's going to theaters. Shocking, the reviews are not coming out very well. Fifth Element's getting a re-release. That's cool. That's cool. I don't know. They got to figure it out. Again, toxic positivity, man. Toxic positivity. These people, they go on all these shows. Theaters are back. Yeah. I say the Michael Hatton line every so often. There you go. The only good thing about Venom 3 is the popcorn buckets. Gladiator 2 is the only one that has potential, that has any potential worth for me to go to the theater anytime soon. I routinely forget that movie's coming out. I do. Oh, and as a reminder, Alien Romulus is on home release in 2 weeks. So if you didn't see it, you'll get to see it. And I'm curious to see what most of you think about that movie. But that's it. That's a show. That's a wrap. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much to Guaranteed Jet for the super chat once again. Thank you. Thank you. And that's a wrap. So good. Nice ice cube. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. Second show in the works. I won't say coming soon, I'll say in the works. Because I think we're getting there. We'll figure it out. But as I continue to set up, of course, more videos will be dropping from myself, from Anthony, more reviews, all that fun stuff. But of course, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, on TikTok, and Discord. Of course, jump in the Discord. It's a good time. Follow each other, be kind to each other, and as I mentioned at the top, as was said by Jake, the lead singer of August Burns Red, back in 2019, we're all we've got. We're all we got. Like, comment, subscribe, talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. I'm out of here.
Specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Yeah, come on, push a button. Push a goddamn button.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.